Listen carefully. Your mind is the most powerful weapon you will ever own. If you're not training it, sharpening it, strengthening it every single day, you're falling behind. In this world, only those who control their minds can control their lives. Today, I'm giving you 10 proven ways to train your mind like a genius, so you can think sharper, react faster, and achieve more than ever before. Stay locked in. This will change everything. These videos require a lot of effort from me. Please help spread this ancient wisdom to more people. Hit subscribe, smash the like button, and drop a comment below. It's just one click, but it ensures you never miss powerful insights. Show support and help the algorithm bring this content to others. These thoughts could inspire or help someone else on their journey. Together, we can make a difference. Let's share knowledge and empower more people to take action. Way number 1. Question everything. Stop accepting, start analyzing. If you want to train your mind like a genius, you must cultivate one of the most powerful mental habits of all time: questioning everything. Not just occasionally, not just when it feels convenient, but every single day, in every interaction, in every piece of information you consume. Because let me tell you something most people will never dare to say. You have been lied to. The world is built on layers of illusions, carefully constructed systems of control, and unchallenged narratives designed to keep people in line. Society wants you obedient. The world wants you to accept what you are told without question. Your teachers, the media, your culture, even your own upbringing, all of them have embedded ideas into your mind before you even had the chance to challenge them. You were told what is true, what is false, what is possible, what is impossible, what is acceptable, what is forbidden. And most people, they just nod their heads and go along with it. But you are here for something more. You are here to wake up, to break free, to train your mind into an unstoppable machine that slices through deception and hunts down the truth. And the first step? Stop accepting. Start analyzing. Do you really think the greatest minds in history got to where they were by blindly accepting what they were told? No, they refused. They challenged the status quo. They broke down every idea, tested every theory, and tore apart conventional wisdom until only the raw, undeniable truth remained. Einstein didn't just accept Newtonian physics, he shattered it. Da Vinci didn't just accept the knowledge of his time, he questioned reality itself. Tesla didn't just accept the limitations of existing technology, he envisioned a world no one else could see. And you? What are you doing? Are you truly thinking? Or are you just repeating? Because there is a massive difference. Let's make something clear. Most people are not thinking. They are simply memorizing, regurgitating, following. They hear something, it sounds good, and they accept it as truth without ever testing it. They read an article, they watch a video, they see a post online, and they absorb it unfiltered, as if the very act of seeing something makes it true. This is the behavior of the mentally weak. This is why the majority of people never achieve greatness. They don't think, they don't question, they don't challenge the ideas that rule their lives. But you must be different. You must be ruthless in your pursuit of truth. If something doesn't make sense, dig deeper. If something feels off, investigate. If an idea is presented as absolute truth, test it. Do not just accept it because that's the way it is. That phrase is a prison. It is a mental cage designed to keep you compliant, to keep you from looking too closely, to prevent you from uncovering the cracks in the foundation of the reality you've been handed. And let me warn you, the moment you start questioning, the moment you start truly thinking, you will become dangerous. People will push back. They will get uncomfortable. They will tell you to stop overanalyzing, to stop being difficult, to just accept things as they are. Ignore them, because these people are still asleep. They are still trapped in the web of assumptions, blind faith, and unquestioned beliefs. You are on a different path now. You are waking up. You are training your mind to be sharp, relentless, and immune to manipulation. But the hardest part? The most difficult thing to question is not the world around you. It's yourself, your own beliefs, your own assumptions, the thoughts you've carried with you for years, possibly decades, without ever truly dissecting them. Have you ever stopped to ask yourself, why do I believe what I believe? Where did this idea come from? Is it actually true? Because if you haven't, let me tell you something. You might be carrying mental poison. limiting beliefs, false assumptions, ideas that were planted in your mind by people who never had your best interests at heart. And unless you challenge them, you will live your life under their control. It takes courage to question yourself. It takes strength to look at your own mind and say, maybe I've been wrong. Maybe I've believed things just because they were comfortable. Maybe I've accepted ideas just because everyone else believed them. But here's the truth. If you don't break down your own beliefs, if you don't put them to the test, then you are not thinking. You are simply repeating. And repeating is not intelligence. It is programming. Question everything: the news, the education system, the financial system, the health industry, the success strategies people sell you. Every idea, every statement, every belief must be tested. Because when you question, you activate your mind. You turn on the gears of critical thinking. You stop being a passive receiver of information and become a force, a thinker, a strategist, a true intellectual warrior. This is how you train your mind to be. Way number 2, eliminate mental clutter. Your brain needs space to think. Your mind is a powerful tool. It's capable of incredible things: creativity, innovation, problem solving, and more. But the truth is, most people's minds are far from operating at full potential. Why? Because their brains are cluttered. Cluttered with distractions, worries, endless to-do lists, unresolved emotions, and unproductive thoughts. And this mental clutter is doing more than just slowing you down. It's actively preventing you from achieving your true potential. You cannot think clearly if your mind is constantly distracted by unnecessary thoughts. You cannot achieve greatness when your brain is overwhelmed with trivialities. The first step in training your mind like a genius is simple. Eliminate the clutter. You need to give your mind the space it needs to think, to create, to innovate, and to act with precision. Without clearing the clutter, your mind will remain stuck in chaos, and you will remain stuck with it. But here's the cold hard truth. No one is going to clear your mental clutter for you. You have to take ownership of this. You must take action. You must make the conscious decision to rid your mind of the distractions that hold you back. Genius is not about being constantly busy or mentally overloaded. It's about having the clarity and focus to think deeply and make powerful decisions. You are the only person who has the power to create the mental environment that will allow you to thrive. Your mind cannot perform at its highest level if it's consumed by noise, disorganization, and clutter. The great minds throughout history didn't achieve greatness by keeping everything on their minds at once. They achieved greatness by clearing their mental space and allowing themselves the freedom to think clearly and decisively. Now you might be thinking, but my life is full of demands. I have to think about so many things, manage endless tasks, and stay on top of everything. And that's where most people get trapped. They think that mental clutter is inevitable. They think they can't do anything about the constant demands on their attention. But here's the truth. You can control what you let occupy your mind. You have the power to decide what thoughts, worries, and distractions get space in your mind and which ones don't. To train your mind like a genius, you must first recognize that mental clutter is the enemy of progress. It may not always be obvious, but every distraction, every worry, every unnecessary thought takes up precious mental energy that could otherwise be used for creativity, focus, and action. Mental clutter is draining you. It is stealing your potential. It's preventing you from thinking clearly, from making decisions confidently, and from achieving at the level you know you're capable of. So what can you do about it? The answer is simple, but requires commitment and discipline. You must eliminate the mental clutter from your life, and you must do it now. The first step is identifying the sources of your clutter. What thoughts are constantly running through your mind? What worries do you keep coming back to over and over again without resolution? What tasks and obligations are taking up your mental bandwidth but never seem to get done? These are the things that are distracting you, draining your energy, and preventing you from focusing on what truly matters. Once you've identified the sources of your mental clutter, you need to take control. You need to take action. Some of this clutter can be eliminated through external actions, like organizing your environment, decluttering your workspace, or getting rid of unnecessary obligations. But much of it requires an internal shift. You need to train yourself to let go of the thoughts that don't serve you, the worries about the future, the regrets about the past, the anxieties that keep you from being present in the moment. You need to give your mind permission to focus on what truly matters. One of the most effective ways to eliminate mental clutter is through the practice of mindfulness. Mindfulness is the art of being present, of quieting the noise, and of focusing on the here and now. It allows you to recognize when your mind is drifting into unnecessary thoughts and to bring your focus back to the present moment. This practice can help you clear away the mental debris and make room for clarity, creativity, and purpose. You also need to develop the discipline to say no to distractions. Every time you allow yourself to be pulled into something that doesn't serve your higher purpose, whether it's an unnecessary task, an unimportant conversation, or an unhealthy emotional attachment, you are adding more clutter to your mind. You must learn to say no to things that don't matter. You need to protect your mental space like it's the most precious resource you have, because, quite frankly, it is. In addition, it's crucial to simplify your thoughts. The human brain loves to overcomplicate things. We often make things more complicated than they need to be. To eliminate mental clutter, you must learn to simplify. Don't overthink. Don't obsess over every small detail. Focus on the big picture. Focus on what really matters. Your mind is a tool, not a prison. Treat it as such. The more you simplify, the more clarity and space you will create for powerful, focused thinking. Now, here's the most important truth. If you want to achieve more, you must free your mind from the noise. You cannot think clearly when your mind is full of distractions. You cannot solve complex problems or come up with groundbreaking ideas when your brain is cluttered with irrelevant thoughts. You must clear the mental space to make room for insight, for creativity, and for brilliance. This is not optional. This is a requirement for success. The world doesn't reward people who are overwhelmed and distracted. It rewards people who can think clearly, who can focus on the task at hand, and who can take decisive action with a clear mind. To be great, you must give your brain the space it needs to think. Let me be blunt. If you keep allowing yourself to be mentally cluttered, you will never achieve your full potential. You will never think as sharply, as creatively, or as decisively as you could. You will remain stuck in the weeds, bogged down by distractions and mental noise, while others rise to the top. Now is the time to take control. Start eliminating your mental clutter today. Start giving your mind the space it needs to perform at its highest level. Start creating a mental environment that allows you to think clearly, focus deeply, and achieve more than you ever thought possible. Your mind is the greatest asset you have. Treat it with the respect it deserves. Clear the clutter, make space for brilliance, and watch as your ability to think sharper, act bolder, and achieve more skyrockets. Way number 3. Read relentlessly. Feed your mind like a genius. If you think that reading is just a pastime or something you do when you have a little extra time, think again. Reading is the lifeblood of a powerful mind. It's not a luxury, it's a necessity. If you are serious about training your mind like a genius, you need to feed it constantly with knowledge, insights, and perspectives that challenge your thinking and push your boundaries. The mind of a genius doesn't stagnate. It feeds, it grows, it evolves, and it thrives on new information. The world we live in is saturated with information. You have access to more knowledge today than any generation before you, and what you do with that knowledge will determine how far you go. The difference between the successful and the unsuccessful is not talent. It's the pursuit of knowledge. Geniuses understand this. They know that their minds are their greatest asset, and they protect it by feeding it, challenging it, and nurturing it. They don't wait for opportunities to come to them. They seek out wisdom, they absorb it, and they turn it into action. If you want to think sharper, achieve more, and rise to the level of a true genius, reading is your weapon. Your mind is hungry for growth. It's hungry for information that will expand its capacity, fuel its creativity, and sharpen its edge. Every book you read, every article you digest, every page you turn is like lifting weights for your brain. You are building mental muscle. You are forging a mind that can think critically, act decisively, and solve problems with unmatched clarity. You can't afford to be passive when it comes to feeding your mind. You need to read relentlessly. It's not about reading just to pass the time or to feel good about your intellectual pursuits. No. You need to read to challenge yourself. You need to read to expand your understanding of the world. You need to read to prepare for greatness. When you read, you unlock new worlds. You expose yourself to ideas and perspectives that you would never have encountered in your day-to-day life. Every book, every article, every paper is a doorway to a new realm of thought. But the key is to approach reading with the right mindset. This is not entertainment. This is serious work. Every book is a tool, and every tool is meant to be used. Your mind is a machine, and reading is the fuel that keeps it running at peak performance. When you read, you gain insight, you gain understanding, you gain perspective. But it's not enough just to read passively. You need to engage with the material. You need to question it, challenge it, and internalize it. Geniuses don't just absorb information, they transform it. They take what they read and they apply it. They use it to fuel their creativity, to solve problems, to innovate, to lead. The more you read, the more you feed your mind with the very tools you need to succeed. Think about the world's greatest minds, people like Leonardo da Vinci, Albert Einstein, and Stephen Hawking. These men weren't just lucky. They weren't just born with some special gift that you don't have. They cultivated their genius by feeding their minds constantly. They were relentless readers. They read to understand the world, to challenge the status quo, to push the boundaries of what was possible. And if you want to rise to that level, you need to do the same. You may ask yourself, why is reading so important? Here's the truth. Your mind is your greatest asset. The more you read, the more you train it. Every book you finish sharpens your thinking. Every idea you encounter challenges your existing beliefs. Every concept you learn adds another layer to your mental toolkit. And with that toolkit, you can solve problems more efficiently, think more creatively, and find new opportunities that others overlook. You don't just read to consume. You read to empower yourself. Every page you turn is an opportunity to learn something new, to arm yourself with the knowledge that will give you a competitive edge. The more you read, the more you develop your critical thinking. You start to see patterns. You start to connect ideas that others wouldn't even consider. You become a master of your craft, whatever that craft may be, because you have the knowledge and the insight to back it up. But don't be fooled into thinking that reading alone will make you a genius. It's not enough to just consume knowledge. You must also apply it. You must use what you learn to take action, to push the boundaries of your own potential, and to build something extraordinary. Genius isn't just about what you know. It's about what you do with what you know. The smartest people in the world don't just read, they act on their knowledge. Reading also has the power to expand your creativity. By exposing yourself to different ideas and different ways of thinking, you open your mind to new possibilities. The more you read, the more you realize how much you don't know. And that realization is powerful. It creates a sense of humility and a desire to keep learning, to keep expanding, to keep growing. Because you know that with every new idea, every new perspective, you are becoming more of the person you were meant to be. The bottom line is this: you cannot afford to be complacent. You cannot afford to let your mind fall stagnant. You must feed it relentlessly. And the best way to do that is by reading. Reading books, articles, papers, anything that will challenge your thinking, push your boundaries, and expand your horizons. If you want to train your mind like a genius, reading is non-negotiable. So here's the challenge. Start reading with purpose. Don't waste time on material that doesn't serve you. Seek out the books, articles, and resources that will help you grow, that will push your mind to the next level. Feed your mind like a genius. Become relentless in your pursuit of knowledge, because only when you read and apply what you learn will you truly begin to see your mind and your life transform. Your future is waiting, but it won't wait forever. The time to start feeding your mind like a genius is now. Get serious about reading, get serious about your growth, and watch your mind sharpen, your creativity explode, and your achievements multiply. Way number 4, train your focus. Most people are distracted. Be different. This is the truth, and you need to hear it now. Your mind is constantly under attack. From the moment you wake up to the second you fall asleep, the world around you is trying to pull your attention in every direction. Social media notifications, emails, texts, distractions, everything screams for your focus, and most people fall victim to it. They let themselves be pulled away from what matters. But if you are serious about becoming a genius, if you want to think sharper, achieve more, and rise above the rest, you need to train your focus. You need to protect your attention with everything you've got. Focus isn't something you're born with. It isn't a trait you either have or don't have. Focus is a skill, and like any skill, it can be developed, but only if you put in the work. The mind of a genius doesn't drift, it doesn't float aimlessly between a million distractions. No, the mind of a genius locks in. It narrows. It hones in on the task at hand, and you must do the same if you want to achieve anything substantial. Think about the most successful, high-achieving people in the world. Think about the innovators, the creators, the leaders. What do they have in common? They have one thing that the rest of the world doesn't: focus. They have the ability to block out the noise and concentrate their energy on what truly matters. They don't let their minds scatter in 1,000 directions. They put everything they have into one thing, and that's why they succeed where others fail. It is no accident that we live in a world that is more distracted than ever. People are divided, their attention split between a dozen things at once. But you need to be different. You can't afford to be like everyone else. If you want to think sharper, achieve more, and reach levels of success that others only dream about, you must master your focus. The problem is, most people never learn to focus. They go through life responding to every distraction, reacting to every interruption. But genius doesn't work that way. If you want to unlock your full potential, you must eliminate distractions and train your mind to zero in on the task in front of you. Distraction is the silent killer of progress. You may think you're multitasking, but the truth is, you're not doing anything well. Your brain is constantly jumping from one thing to the next, and as a result, you're wasting time, wasting energy, and wasting potential. Focus requires discipline. It demands personal responsibility. It means that every time you're tempted to scroll mindlessly through social media or let your mind wander during important tasks, you take control. You redirect your attention to the task that will move you closer to your goals. You understand that the ability to concentrate is the key to mastering any skill, whether it's building a business, learning a new language, or even mastering a craft. The more focused you become, the sharper your mind will be, and the faster you will achieve greatness. Every successful person will tell you the same thing. Focus is everything. If you can train your mind to eliminate distractions, to stay present and fully engaged in the moment, you will accomplish things most people would never dream of. The world is filled with distractions, with people and things that try to pull your attention away from what's important, but you cannot afford to fall into that trap. It's time to take a stand. It's time to stop letting the world dictate your focus. Think about it. How many times have you sat down to work on something important, only to be sidetracked by a notification, an email, or the lure of something more interesting? How many times have you found yourself scrolling through social media, mindlessly consuming information, instead of focusing on the task that would actually move you forward? That's a problem. And it's a problem you need to solve if you want to train your mind to think like a genius. Training your focus isn't easy. It's not about simply trying harder. It's about developing a discipline of mind that won't allow distractions to control you. You must start by recognizing when your attention is being hijacked and then take immediate action to regain control. When you get distracted, recenter. When you feel your mind starting to wander, bring it back. Every single time. You must cultivate the mental strength to say no to the things that don't matter. You must practice deep work. That is, dedicating blocks of uninterrupted time to focus solely on the task at hand. This isn't just a strategy, it's a way of life. It's a commitment to putting your mind to work, not just half-heartedly, but with everything you've got. What do you want more than anything? Is it success? Is it achievement? Then protect your focus at all costs. Stop letting trivial things steal your time and energy. This is about creating a life where your mind is sharp, focused, and relentlessly dedicated to what matters most. The truth is, The people who win in life aren't always the smartest, the most talented, or the most gifted. They are the ones who have learned to focus. They are the ones who have refused to be distracted. And that's exactly what you must do if you want to be successful. You must train yourself to block out the distractions, to stay committed, and to focus on your goals with relentless intensity. Your mind is a powerful tool, but if you don't control it, it will control you. If you don't train your focus, if you don't develop the ability to shut out distractions, you'll never reach your full potential. The distractions are out there. They'll always be out there. But the question is, will you allow them to control you? Will you allow them to sabotage your dreams and your success? Or will you take control of your focus and direct it to where it matters most? The time to act is now. Don't wait for the world to slow down. Don't wait for the distractions to stop coming. Take control of your focus today. The future is waiting for you, and it demands your full attention. Focus is your weapon, your tool, your key to unlocking genius, and it's time to wield it with power. Way number 5, face the hardest challenges. Comfort is the death of growth. Let's get something clear right from the start. Comfort will destroy you. It will suffocate your potential, stop your growth, and imprison you in mediocrity. If you want to think sharper, if you want to achieve more, if you want to unlock the true genius within you, then you need to stop seeking comfort and start embracing discomfort. Every successful person, every genius, every high achiever has one thing in common. They have all faced the hardest challenges, and they've done it time and time again, knowing full well that their greatest growth lies on the other side of difficulty. If you are serious about developing your mind, if you are serious about taking it to a level most people will never reach, you must go through fire. You must be willing to get uncomfortable. Because comfort is the killer of growth, plain and simple. Think about the world around you. It rewards those who step outside their comfort zones, those who dare to take on the impossible, those who refuse to accept limitations, and those who seek comfort, those who settle for the easy path. They fall behind. They fade into the background while the bold, the brave, and the resilient move forward, push boundaries, and create legacies. The truth is, comfort is a trap. It's a lie that convinces you that staying in your safe zone is okay, but it isn't. And deep down, you know it. Every time you choose comfort over challenge, you are choosing to stay stuck in the status quo. You are choosing stagnation over growth. You are choosing to dull your mind, to make it weak, unsharp, and uninspired. And as a result, you will never achieve greatness. You will never unlock the genius within you. Your mind will remain limited because growth only happens when you challenge yourself. It's time to face the truth. Growth requires struggle. If you're not struggling, you're not growing. Now, I know it's hard. I know the feeling of wanting to retreat, to run back to the comfort zone, to avoid the pain. I know that voice inside your head that tells you it's too much. You don't need to push this hard. But that voice is your enemy. It is the voice of weakness, of complacency, of mediocrity. It is the voice that wants to keep you average, to keep you from reaching your potential. What if I told you that the hardest challenges are the ones that will make you stronger? What if I told you that every struggle, every obstacle, every moment of pain you face is an opportunity to expand your mind, to sharpen your intellect, to become more resilient and more powerful? You see, the most successful people in the world are not those who avoid hardship. They are the ones who dive into it headfirst, knowing that it's only through these challenges that they will truly discover what they're made of. When you face a hard challenge, it forces your brain to think differently. It forces you to be creative, to problem solve, to find solutions you never thought possible. It's like a muscle that needs resistance in order to grow. Your mind is the same way. If you constantly stay in your comfort zone, if you constantly avoid the challenges that scare you, your mind will become soft, lazy, and weak. But when you face the hard challenges head-on, you force your mind to become sharp, to become focused, and to evolve. This is how you become a genius. This is how you achieve things others only dream of. It's through the grind, through the battle, through the hardship that your genius emerges. Think of the most brilliant minds in history. Did they take the easy path? Did they shy away from challenges? No. They thrived on challenges. They sought them out. They understood that the most profound growth happens when you're at your breaking point. When you're in the middle of a challenge that feels impossible, that's when your true power comes alive. That's when your mind becomes limitless. You must train your mind to love discomfort. You must train your mind to thrive in adversity. This is where your mental strength is built. This is how you become mentally invincible. The moment you face a challenge, your brain is forced to operate at its highest capacity. It has no choice but to rise to the occasion. And if you approach every challenge this way, every obstacle, every roadblock, then there will be nothing that can stop you. So stop running from the pain. Stop avoiding the tough stuff. It's time to change your mindset. It's time to stop seeking ease and start seeking out the challenges that scare you. Do you want to think sharper? Do you want to achieve more? Then dare to be uncomfortable. Dare to face the hardest, most demanding challenges. And watch as your mind sharpens, as your resilience grows, and as your capacity for greatness expands. This is the real path to genius. This is the path to unparalleled success, and it's waiting for you. But only if you're willing to face the hardest challenges head-on, with everything you have. Comfort is the enemy of progress. Comfort is what holds you back, keeps you small, keeps you weak. If you want to become the best, you must throw comfort out the window and embrace discomfort, challenge, and struggle, because that's where your true growth lies. That's where your mind will expand beyond anything you ever thought possible. So go ahead, seek the hardest challenges, push yourself further than you've ever gone, and watch as your mind transforms into a weapon that can achieve anything. Way number 6, develop ruthless self-discipline. Your mind must serve you. Your mind is either your greatest weapon or your worst enemy. There is no in-between. Either you control it with unrelenting discipline, or it controls you with weakness, distraction, and failure. The average person allows their mind to wander aimlessly, drifting from thought to thought, following impulses, giving in to temptation. They have no control over their focus, their habits, or their direction, and because of that, they achieve nothing of true significance. You are not here to be average. You are not here to drift through life, lost in your own mind, powerless to control your thoughts and actions. You are here to command your own destiny, to shape your own mind into the most powerful tool imaginable. And the only way to do that is through ruthless, unwavering self-discipline. People love to talk about success, intelligence, and mental strength, but very few are willing to do what it takes to build the discipline required to achieve it. They start something with motivation, but when it gets hard, they quit. When distractions arise, they cave. When emotions pull them in different directions, they surrender. And then they wonder why they feel stuck, why they never break through, why they never rise above mediocrity. They are slaves to their own undisciplined minds. That will not be you. You will force your mind to serve you. You will bend it to your will. You will train it like an unbreakable soldier, never allowing weakness to take root. Because the second you let go of discipline, the second you allow your mind to run unchecked, you start to lose control. And when you lose control of your mind, you lose control of your life. Think about the greatest minds in history. Do you think they allowed laziness, distraction, and emotions to dictate their actions? Do you think they let their impulses rule them? No. They developed a level of discipline so unshakable that nothing could pull them off course. They knew that genius is not about luck. It is not about talent alone. It is about the relentless ability to stay focused, to work harder than anyone else, to push through resistance even when everything inside them wanted to stop. Discipline is what separates the strong from the weak. It is what makes the difference between those who create history and those who are forgotten by it. It is not about feeling motivated. Motivation is fleeting, unreliable, a weak source of action. Discipline is permanent. Discipline does not rely on feelings. It does not care if you are tired, if you are frustrated, if you don't feel like it. Discipline is doing what needs to be done no matter what. And make no mistake, this is war. You are at war with your own mind, your own impulses, your own weaknesses. Every day your mind will try to fight you. It will try to convince you to take it easy, to rest, to give up when things get hard. It will make excuses. It will look for distractions. It will test you to see if you are truly in control. And if you are not, it will win. It will make you weak. It will destroy your potential. It will rob you of the life you were meant to live. You must refuse to allow that to happen. You must take back control. Every time your mind tries to pull you away from discipline, you must crush it with force. You must override its weakness with unbreakable willpower. You must demand more from yourself than anyone else ever could, because no one is coming to save you. No one is going to hand you greatness. You either discipline yourself into becoming the strongest version of yourself, or you fade into nothingness like everyone else who lacks the will to take command of their own mind. Self-discipline is not something you are born with. It is something you build with relentless effort. It is forged in the fire of repetition, of pushing yourself beyond what you think you can handle, of refusing to break even when everything in you screams for comfort. The more you enforce discipline, the stronger it becomes, and the stronger it becomes, the more unstoppable you become. Everything you want, success, intelligence, mastery, control, is on the other side of discipline. Every goal you set will demand it. Every challenge you face will test it. Every moment of weakness will try to strip it away. And in those moments, you will either stand firm or fall like the rest. This is not just about training your mind. This is about reclaiming your power. This is about becoming the master of yourself. Because if you do not control your own mind, someone else will. The world is filled with distractions, temptations, and forces designed to keep you weak. Social media, mindless entertainment, pointless drama, it is all there to enslave you, to steal your focus, to make you forget what truly matters. If you are not disciplined, you will be consumed by it. But you are different. You are not weak. You are not easily swayed. You are building a mind that bends to your command, that does not surrender to distractions, that does not give in to laziness. You are creating a force so powerful that nothing can shake it. And once you have that level of control, once you have trained your mind into absolute obedience, nothing will be out of reach. The world belongs to those who are strong enough to take it, not those who wish, not those who hope, but those who have the discipline to do what must be done. Every day, every hour, every moment, you have a choice to either be in control or to be controlled. To either enforce discipline or to let weakness win. You already know what you must do. Now do it. Way number 7. Train your memory. Retain information like a mastermind. Your memory is the foundation of your intelligence. It is the raw material from which all your ideas, decisions, and insights emerge. Every thought you have, every skill you master, every lesson you learn is built upon what you can recall and apply. Without memory, there is no knowledge. Without knowledge, there is no power. And without power, you are nothing but another mind wandering aimlessly, lost in the noise of a forgetful world. Most people drift through life with minds as leaky as broken buckets. They consume information only to let it slip away. They read books, but forget the lessons. They study, but fail to retain. They experience life, but never truly absorb its wisdom. They live reactively, constantly needing to be reminded, relearning what they should have already mastered. And this weakness, this failure to train the mind to hold on to knowledge, is why they stay mediocre, why they never break free, why they never rise above the rest. But not you. You refuse to be one of them. You refuse to accept a weak memory as your fate, because you understand the brutal truth. If you cannot remember, you cannot evolve. If knowledge is power, then memory is the key that unlocks it. And if you do not sharpen this ability, if you do not make it your weapon, then you will forever be at the mercy of those who do. Imagine walking into a room and recalling every face, every conversation, every detail that matters. Imagine reading a book and never needing to flip back to remember a concept. Imagine absorbing complex ideas and retaining them effortlessly, using them to build an empire of intelligence. This is not fantasy. This is what is possible when you take control of your mind and force it to remember. The problem is that most people never train their memory. They expect it to function perfectly without effort, without discipline, without sharpening. But the mind is like a blade. It dulls with disuse. If you do not sharpen it, it rusts, weakens, and fails when you need it most. A weak memory is a symptom of a weak mind. A powerful memory is the mark of someone who owns their intelligence, who refuses to forget, who refuses to be left behind. This is about more than just remembering facts. It is about conditioning your brain to absorb, retain, and retrieve information with unstoppable precision. It is about training yourself to command knowledge at will, to never let crucial information slip away. This is what separates a forgetful fool from a mastermind. Think about the greatest minds in history: scientists, strategists, innovators. Do you believe they stumbled through life, forgetting the very knowledge that made them great? No. They trained themselves to remember everything that mattered, to lock it into their minds so deeply that it became part of their very being. And this is what you must do. Your brain is capable of storing infinite knowledge, but only if you force it to. It is lazy by default, discarding what it considers unimportant. But here's the truth. Nothing you learn should ever be unimportant. Every book, every insight, every experience must be etched into your mind, ready to be called upon in an instant. The only difference between a forgetful mind and a genius mind is deliberate, disciplined training. And this training is not optional. It is not a luxury. It is a necessity. Because the world rewards those who remember. The most valuable people in any field are the ones who hold deep reservoirs of knowledge, who never have to say, "I forgot," who never struggle to recall crucial details. They move fast. They make decisions with clarity. They are trusted, respected, and followed because they know. A powerful memory gives you an unfair advantage over everyone around you. While others scramble to remember, you will already have the answers. While others fumble through notes, you will speak with certainty. While others struggle to recall what they learned yesterday, you will have a lifetime of knowledge at your command. This is power. This is dominance. This is intelligence in its purest form. But if you do not take this seriously, if you continue to let your mind forget, to let knowledge slip through your fingers, then you will remain trapped in ignorance, constantly relearning, constantly struggling, constantly falling behind. Because here's the brutal truth. The world does not wait for those who forget. If you cannot retain information, you will be replaced by those who can. This is why you must train your memory like a warrior trains his body, daily, relentlessly, with unshakable discipline. It will not be easy. It will require effort. But the rewards will be beyond anything you can imagine. Because once you master this skill, once you turn your mind into a vault of unstoppable knowledge, you will never be the same again. You will be limitless. You will be undeniable. You will be a mastermind in a world of forgetful minds. And that is the ultimate power. Way number 8. Embrace logic. Your emotions must never control you. Your emotions are the greatest threat to your ability to think clearly. They deceive you, they cloud your judgment, they hijack your mind and lead you down paths of impulse, reaction, and regret. They turn intelligent people into fools, strong people into weaklings, and ambitious people into failures. If you let them control you, they will dominate your choices, your relationships, your career, and ultimately your entire life. And yet, this is exactly what most people do. They let emotions dictate their decisions without question. They feel a surge of anger and lash out. They feel discouraged and give up before they even try. They feel fear and freeze, never taking the risks necessary for success. Even worse, they justify these reactions, acting as if their emotions are rational, as if they are undeniable truths that must be followed. But here's the harsh reality. Emotions are not truth. They are chemical reactions, deeply flawed and easily manipulated. If you rely on them to navigate life, you will be tossed around like a ship with no captain, no direction, and no control. This is why logic must be your master. Logic is what separates the great from the mediocre. It is the foundation of power, intelligence, and success. When you embrace logic, you rise above the chaos of emotions. You stop reacting blindly and start thinking strategically. You stop being pulled by every fleeting feeling and instead act with precision, with purpose, with absolute control. Control is everything, because if you do not control yourself, someone else will. The world is filled with people who know how to manipulate emotions: politicians, marketers, social influencers, con artists, even friends and family members. They understand that if they can trigger your emotions, they can control your actions. They can make you afraid, make you guilty, make you desperate, make you act against your best interests. The easiest person to control is the one who does not control themselves. Look around you. See how easily people are led by emotions, outrage, desire, fear, insecurity. See how quickly they fall for lies, how effortlessly they are pulled into arguments, how readily they hand over their power without even realizing it. Those who rule the world are not those who feel the most. They are those who think the most. They are the ones who analyze, who strategize, who make decisions based on facts, not fleeting emotions. And that is the discipline you must master. Make no mistake, this is not about denying emotions. You cannot turn them off. You will still feel anger, you will still feel fear, you will still feel frustration, sadness, and doubt. The difference is, you will not let them dictate your choices. You will override them with logic. You will feel them and then ask, is this feeling based on reality, or is it just my mind reacting? You will force yourself to stop, to think, to analyze before you act. Most people refuse to do this because it requires effort. It is easier to justify emotions than to control them. It is easier to say, I was just being honest, after hurting someone in a moment of anger, than to admit that you lacked self-control. It is easier to say, I was too scared, after missing an opportunity, than to admit that fear beat you. But that is the difference between the strong and the weak. The weak excuse their emotions. The strong master them. There will be moments where your emotions demand to be acted on. Your ego will scream for you to prove a point. Your fear will beg you to back down. Your anger will tell you that you have to respond now. In these moments, you must do the hardest thing possible. Pause. Stop. Think. Let the emotion pass. Then ask yourself, what is the smartest decision? What action benefits me the most? What is the truth beyond what I feel right now? Because this is the truth that most people never understand. Your emotions are temporary, but your decisions are permanent. If you act impulsively, based on how you feel in a single moment, you might make a choice that destroys opportunities, relationships, or even your entire future. One moment of anger can cost you years of progress. One moment of fear can keep you stuck forever. One moment of weakness can define your entire life. And here's where true power lies. When you control your emotions, no one can control you. No one can manipulate you. No one can make you feel small, make you doubt yourself, make you act against your best interests. You become untouchable. People will try to push your buttons, guilt, fear, intimidation, social pressure, but they will fail because you do not operate on their level. You do not respond emotionally. You respond intelligently. This is how the greatest minds in history have functioned. They did not make emotional decisions. They did not let anger cloud their judgment. They did not let fear stop them from taking risks. They used logic, reason, and strategy to win. And you must do the same. If you want to rise above the masses, if you want to be successful, if you want to dominate in life, then you must master this skill. It is not easy. It requires constant discipline, relentless self-awareness, and an iron will. But the rewards are immeasurable. Because a mind ruled by logic is a mind that cannot be broken. A mind that cannot be broken is a mind that will conquer everything. Way number 9. Learn to think in systems. See the bigger picture. Most people are blind. They live in a world of fragments, isolated moments, disconnected events. They react to what is directly in front of them without any awareness of the bigger picture. They chase quick fixes, put out fires, jump from one problem to the next, never realizing that the real issue is not what they are looking at, but how they are looking at it. If you do not train yourself to see the bigger picture, you will always be trapped. Trapped in cycles of frustration, trapped in patterns of failure, trapped in a life that feels small and confusing. You will think that things are happening to you, never understanding that you are caught inside a system, one that you could control if only you had the vision to see it. Because here's the truth. Everything operates in systems. Every problem you face, every decision you make, every success or failure, it all exists inside a larger structure. Your career, your relationships, your health, your mind itself. They are not random. They follow patterns. They have inputs and outputs. They function within systems. And if you don't understand those systems, then you are nothing more than a pawn in a game you don't even realize is being played. But when you learn to think in systems, everything changes. Because systems thinking is power. It allows you to see the connections that others miss. It gives you the ability to predict outcomes that others never see coming. It lets you create change at the root level instead of wasting your life fixing surface-level symptoms. And most importantly, it puts you in control. When you understand systems, you stop wasting time on things that don't matter. You stop reacting to problems like a fool blindly swinging a sword in the dark. You start cutting through the noise, seeing the real cause behind every challenge, every failure, every setback. You become strategic, focused, unstoppable. But make no mistake, this is not how the average person thinks. Most people only see what is right in front of them. They think in isolated moments instead of connected patterns. They focus on short-term reactions instead of long-term consequences. And because of that, they are always stuck in the same cycles, the same financial struggles, the same unhealthy relationships, the same failures repeated over and over again because they never step back to see the system that is producing those results. It is your responsibility to think differently. You must force yourself to zoom out, to stop thinking like a small-minded, reactionary fool and start seeing the entire structure, the real machine behind everything in your life. If you don't, then you will always be manipulated by those who do. Because the people who think in systems, they run the world. They build businesses that dominate industries because they understand market forces that others ignore. They create wealth that lasts for generations because they see how economic systems actually work. They become leaders, visionaries, revolutionaries because they see how the game is played. And let me tell you something. The game is being played, whether you realize it or not. There are forces shaping your life right now. Economic systems, psychological systems, political systems. There are patterns governing your success or failure, habits, routines, cycles of cause and effect. And if you do not start thinking in systems, you will never escape the limitations that have been placed around you. But once you do, once you break free from the blindness that holds most people back, you become dangerous. You become the kind of person who sees reality as it truly is. You stop making emotional, knee-jerk decisions and start engineering your success with precision. You recognize the hidden connections between things, the way one decision creates ripples across your entire life, the way one change at the root level can transform everything. This is what separates geniuses from the ordinary. Einstein didn't just see physics, he saw the underlying structure of the universe. Elon Musk doesn't just build companies, he builds interconnected ecosystems that shape the future. Great leaders don't just solve problems, they redesign the systems that create those problems in the first place. This is how you must train your mind. Because once you see the bigger picture, you can reshape it. You stop fighting against the surface of problems and start rewiring the machine itself. And that is how you win. But you must make the choice. Most people will not do this. They will stay small, stay reactive, stay blind to the bigger picture that controls their lives. You cannot afford to be like them. You must force yourself to step back, to see the real structure behind your challenges, to analyze your life, your decisions, your obstacles, not as isolated problems, but as interconnected parts of a system. When you do this, you will see patterns that were invisible before. You will stop wasting time on distractions. You will become more strategic, more precise, more powerful in your thinking. And most importantly, you will take control. Because thinking in systems is the difference between living at the mercy of the world and shaping the world itself. And if you do not master this skill, then you will always be controlled by those who do. The choice is yours. See the bigger picture or stay small. Take control or be controlled. Think like a genius or think like the masses. But understand this, the world belongs to those who see the system. We have more interesting videos about stoicism and the way of life. If you want to watch a video about 10 shocking truths about saying no that will change your life, please click link above in the video. If you like the video or you don't want to miss further videos about stoicism, please subscribe. Way number 10. Never stop learning. A stagnant mind is a dead mind. There is no greater tragedy than a mind that refuses to grow. A mind that settles, that stops seeking, that convinces itself it has learned enough. This is not just stagnation, it is decay. It is the slow, silent death of potential. And make no mistake, a stagnant mind is as good as dead. Look around you. The world is evolving at breakneck speed. Every single day, new ideas are being forged. New technologies are emerging. And new knowledge is rewriting what we once believed to be true. The difference between those who rise and those who fade into irrelevance is simple. Some people keep learning, while others let their minds rot. The moment you stop feeding your mind, you start falling behind. You start slipping into mediocrity, into a life dictated by outdated beliefs and old patterns that no longer serve you. And the worst part? You won't even notice it happening. It's a slow, creeping erosion, a dulling of your edge, a weakening of your ability to think, adapt, and dominate. One day, you wake up and the world has moved on without you. That is the brutal reality. People often think of learning as something you do in school, as if the moment you step out of a classroom, your education is over. That is a lie. The people who truly thrive, the innovators, the leaders, the masters of their craft, they never stop learning. They don't wait for permission. They don't wait for someone to tell them what they need to know. They hunt knowledge down. They consume it relentlessly. They adapt, they evolve, they sharpen their thinking every single day. You want to think like a genius? Then you must make learning a lifelong pursuit. You must demand growth from yourself every single day without exception. It's not a luxury. It's not an option. It is the very foundation of intelligence, success, and power. And yet, so many people let their minds wither. They become comfortable. They tell themselves they've figured things out. They become prisoners of their own ignorance, trapped in a reality they refuse to expand. Do not let that be you. Because the truth is, when you stop learning, you surrender control over your own future. You are no longer an active force shaping your life. You are a passive observer, reacting to a world you no longer understand. You are at the mercy of those who do continue learning, those who do stay ahead, those who do refuse to settle. You see it everywhere. People who once had potential, now stuck in their ways. People who were once sharp, now dull and predictable. They speak in cliches, they think in old patterns. They reject new ideas because they no longer have the mental agility to process them. They don't even realize they've been left behind. And the worst part? The world does not care. The world will not slow down for you. It will not pause and wait while you cling to outdated knowledge. It will move forward, with or without you. The only question is, will you keep up? The responsibility is yours. It always has been. No one is coming to force you to grow. No one is going to demand that you challenge your own thinking. No one is going to make you stronger, sharper, better. That is your job. That is your duty. If you are not constantly feeding your mind, sharpening your intelligence, expanding your perspective, then you are choosing mediocrity. And mediocrity is the death of potential. Because learning is not just about gathering facts. It is about expanding your ability to think. It is about challenging assumptions, refining your understanding, elevating your mind beyond what you ever thought possible. It is about power. Yes, power. Knowledge is power. But only when it is pursued relentlessly, when it is applied, when it is used as a weapon to carve your path in this world. The strongest minds do not just absorb information, they wield it. They use it to make better decisions, to solve bigger problems, to create and innovate and dominate in their field. If you want to live an extraordinary life, if you want to rise above the average, if you want to achieve what most people never will, then you must commit to never-ending learning. Not just when it's convenient, not just when it's easy. Always. Read books, challenge ideas, seek mentors, question everything. Never assume you know enough. The moment you believe you've learned all you need to know, that is the moment your decline begins. That is the moment you start to die intellectually, creatively, and strategically. The geniuses of history never stopped learning. Einstein, Tesla, Da Vinci, Jobs. These were not men who were satisfied with what they knew. They were obsessed with learning, obsessed with uncovering new truths, obsessed with pushing the boundaries of their own understanding. And because of that, they shaped the world. Do you want to be someone who shapes the world, or someone who is shaped by it? Because those are your only options. If you stop learning, you become a follower, a relic of an outdated mindset. You become someone who clings to what they used to know, while the world outgrows you. You become a footnote, forgotten, irrelevant. But if you commit to lifelong learning, if you make the decision right now that you will never stop growing, never stop evolving, never stop sharpening your mind, then you put yourself in control. You take command of your future. You become someone who cannot be ignored, someone who cannot be replaced, someone who matters. And that is the difference. A stagnant mind is a dead mind, but a mind that never stops learning, that mind is unstoppable. Till the next time, stay strong and live wisely.